Hong Kong is a 7 million city, a highly congested area. But actually our carbon footprint using UN's calculation is about 6 tons per person per year, which is slightly below the world average of 7 tons. And yet I think there is a lot that we can do as a city, because 63% of our carbon footprint actually coming from the energy sector, which are mostly used in buildings. So the first area is in every single buildings, among the 40,000 buildings, if there is any effort to sort of reduce its energy consumption, we stand a good chance of reducing our carbon footprint. We're also working very actively in going for a low carbon fuel mix for our power generation. Now, the current mix, which is essentially coal-fired basis, would need to be suppressed to be replaced by cleaner fuel mix and also a lower carbon fuel mix. Now, in the transportation area, Hong Kong is a bit fortunate because 90% of our commuting are actually done by public transport. Car ownership is in fact quite small, and yet it accounts for about 16% of our carbon footprint. So how to sort of further modernize our transportation system, for instance, taking in more electric vehicles which have no tailback emission, and also using the energy which will in future be cleaner produced, would be the answer. So in that regard, I think we also open up to any kind of EV technology that could come to Hong Kong as the first city to be tried out. Last but not the least is in big cities, the way we dispose our refuse also constitute quite a lot of carbon emission. And in that regard, I think Hong Kong should catch up with other cities in using more sort of waste to energy development, putting these waste treatment into generating, for instance, electricity for our households. We have plans to build integrated waste management facility that will provide energy to the neighborhood, say, up to about 100,000 households. We are also building district cooling system that will provide electricity for our future cruise terminal and the household in the new town area. So I think all cities, be they Hong Kong, Berlin, or everywhere, I think focusing on building, focusing on transport and waste management would be the answer for a much lower footprint in a greener city. Particularly in modern cities, as people's living standard improve, one thing that drives people for a better city life, in fact, is a better environment. So the concept of green city, and perhaps the greener city in our part of the world, in the mainland of China and also in Asia, is something that we're aspiring for. And I believe, though, that would involve a lot of public participation. Take, for instance, when we talk about conserving energy in buildings. While there would be legislation stipulating a minimum building requirement, while there may be incentive scheme where government will provide subsidies to help people, but essentially, at the end of the day, it's people's mindset that counts. If people are changing their behavior, certainly there would be a lot of scope for adopt the latest technology, for making changes in the devices they use, and also down to minor things that switching off idling sort of machinery, or go the extra mile of practicing a greener life. So yes, you're exactly right. The public need to be on side while government and city move together.